Turbo mode speeds up everything, including your losses. Here's the dynamic cash out system that adapts to the faster pace. Crash X is a crash game with turbo mode option. Standard crash games give you 10 to 15 seconds per round. Turbo mode cuts that to 3 to 5 seconds. The plane takes off faster. Multiplier climbs faster. Crashes happen faster. Most players turn on turbo thinking they'll hit more rounds and more chances to win. Instead, they lose their bankroll in 5 minutes. Here's why turbo mode changes everything about optimal strategy and how dynamic cash out adapts to the speed. Standard Crash X plays like any crash game. Plane takes off. Multiplier starts at 1 times and climbs. You cash out before it crashes. If you cash at 2 times, you double your money. If the plane crashes before you cash, you lose your bet. Simple mechanics. Standard mode gives you time to think. Watch the multiplier. Decide when to cash. Human reaction time is manageable. Turbo mode eliminates thinking time. Round starts. Multiplier hits 1.5 times in 1 second, 2 times in 2 seconds. You need to decide and click instantly. If you're manually cashing, you'll miss your target by half a second and crash. Your brain can't process fast enough. Manual caching in turbo mode is suicide for most players. Here's why turbo burns bankrolls. Standard mode runs 40 to 50 rounds per hour. Turbo runs 120 to 150 rounds per hour. Triple the rounds means triple the exposure to house edge. Crash X has roughly 3% house edge. Playing standard mode for 1 hour at 100 per round costs you $150 in expected value. Turbo mode at same bet size costs you $450 per hour. Same bet size, triple the loss rate. The dynamic cash out method solves this. You can't rely on manual timing in turbo. You need automated systems with adaptive triggers. Set multiple auto cash out targets that adjust based on recent crash patterns. The system tracks the last 10 crashes. If crashes are coming early, auto cash out drops to 1.3 times. If crashes are running late, auto cash out increases to 2.5 times. This adaptation keeps you cashing before crashes, regardless of pace. Most platforms don't offer adaptive auto cash out natively. You need to adjust manually every few rounds. After every 10 rounds, check where crashes happened. 5 or more crashed below 2 times? Lower your next auto cash out to 1.5 times. 7 or more made it past 3 times? Increase to 2 times. This manual adaptation creates the dynamic system when the platform doesn't offer it automatically. Bet sizing in turbo mode must drop dramatically. Standard mode allows 3 to 5% of bankroll per round. Turbo mode demands 1 to 2% maximum. You're playing triple the volume. Your variance exposure triples. Bet sizing needs to compensate, or you're broke in 30 minutes. You have $3,000? Bet 30 to 60 per round in turbo, not the 150 you'd bet in standard mode. The psychological trap of turbo is action addiction. Rounds finish in seconds. You can play 100 rounds in 40 minutes. This constant action triggers dopamine loops. Your brain gets addicted to the speed. You stop thinking about each individual round. You're just clicking and watching. This autopilot mode is how you lose awareness of how much you're down. 30 rounds pass. You lost 15 of them. You didn't notice because they went so fast. Setting round limits prevents this. Before starting turbo session, decide maximum rounds, 50 rounds total. When you hit 50, stop regardless of results. Up or down doesn't matter. Stop. Count the rounds manually if the platform doesn't track them. Most platforms show round history. Use it. Turbo makes you lose track of volume. Forced round limits create awareness. Crash pattern recognition matters more in turbo. Standard mode has enough variance that patterns don't emerge over 1 hour. Turbo mode's volume can reveal short-term patterns. If the last 20 rounds crashed early 15 times, the next batch might run longer to balance RTP. This isn't guaranteed. RNG is still random. But turbo's volume creates pattern visibility that standard mode doesn't offer in the same time frame. Don't take this as prediction. You can't predict crashes, but you can adjust your cash out targets based on recent behavior. Game is crashing early repeatedly? Cash earlier. Game is running hot. Let it ride slightly longer. Small adjustments to auto cash out targets based on recent 30-round windows. Nothing dramatic. Shift from 1.8 to 1.6 when crashes trend early. This adaptation reduces crash rate slightly. The speed advantage of Turbo exists only for bonus clearing. Online casinos have wagering requirements. Bet the bonus amount 30 times before withdrawing. Turbo mode lets you clear requirements in 1/3 the time. If you're playing purely to clear bonuses and cash out, Turbo makes sense. Set conservative 1.5 times auto cash out. Blast through wagering, get out. Don't play Turbo for actual profit attempts. Profit targets need adjustment for Turbo volume. In standard mode, hitting 20% profit in 1 hour is solid. In Turbo, that same profit happens in 20 minutes if you're running well, but you're also exposed to more variance. Set tighter profit targets. 10% profit in Turbo should trigger stop. Lock it in. The extra volume means you'll give it back faster than standard mode. Stop loss in Turbo must be brutal. 10% maximum loss, then stop. You brought 2,000 to play Turbo? Stop at 200 down. The speed will tempt you to keep playing, thinking you can recover fast. You can't. The house edge catches you faster in Turbo. Tight stop loss is the only protection against Turbo bleeding your stack before you realize what happened. Time limits work better than round limits for some players. Set 15-minute timer for Turbo sessions. Timer goes off, stop immediately. 15 minutes of Turbo is 75 to 100 rounds. Plenty of volume. More than that and you're overexposed. The constant action makes time disappear. You think you played 10 minutes, it's been 40. Timer forces reality check. Emotional control is harder in Turbo. You crash 3 times in 10 seconds. Your brain barely processes it before the next round starts. This speed prevents tilt recognition. You don't realize you're tilting until you've made 10 emotional decisions. In standard mode, you have breathing room between rounds. Turbo doesn't give you that space. If you tilt easily, don't play Turbo at all. The RTP is identical between standard and Turbo mode. Both have 97% RTP typically. Same 3% house edge. The difference is speed of exposure. You reach expected loss 3 times faster in Turbo. This is crucial to understand. Turbo doesn't have worse RTP. It just gets you to the inevitable loss faster through volume. Network latency kills you in Turbo mode. Standard mode has 10 seconds per round. 200 millisecond lag doesn't matter. Turbo has 3 seconds per round. 200 millisecond lag means you miss your cash out window constantly. Play Turbo on stable internet only. Mobile data on a moving bus? You're going to crash over and over from lag, not bad luck. Test your connection before playing Turbo with real money. The platform matters for Turbo play. Some platforms have smoother Turbo implementation. Others have janky animations that freeze momentarily. This freeze causes missed cash outs. Test multiple platforms in free mode. Find which has smoothest Turbo. Stick to that platform. The difference in animation quality directly affects your crash rate in Turbo. Recording sessions reveals mistakes. Record your screen during Turbo sessions. Watch playback at normal speed. You'll see decisions you don't remember making. The speed creates memory gaps. Playback shows where you're clicking too slow or caching too early. Most players never record themselves. They keep making the same mistakes because Turbo's pace prevents learning. Subscribe for more Turbo mode strategy. Stop playing Turbo like standard mode. Start adapting your entire approach to the speed.